Good evening and welcome to Myrna Lim Live. Tonight we have a very special guest, a very talented, very dynamic, very smart individual, well known in San Francisco city politics, Mr. Julian Davis. He happens to be chairing a very controversial initiative that is going to be in the ballot this coming November for 2008. Mr. Julian is the chair of the Clean Energy Act, that is Proposition H, this coming November for 2008. Hello, Julian. How are you?
Good.
Welcome to Myrna Lim Live.
Thank you, Myrna.
Great. Now, let's start from the very beginning. Now it hits the ballot. It's going to be in voters' pamphlet. It is Proposition H. So why don't you tell us what this Proposition H is about?
And you mentioned that you thought the measure might be controversial. I think there's really nothing more common sense at this point, 2008, than really aggressively finding ways to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions in order to prevent what we see as the impending catastrophic climate change that will occur if human beings don't change their behavior here on planet Earth. The San Francisco Clean Energy Act is an answer to the crisis of global warming. It's a city, a major American city, a locality really taking the initiative to require 100% clean energy for its energy supply. And it's calling for, in particular, 100% by 2040, 75% by 2030, and the short-term goal of 51% renewable clean energy for San Francisco's energy supply by 2017. Those are the basics. There's some other facets to the Act and to Prop H that will be of interest to folks. It will also really make San Francisco the hub of the emerging green economy, the clean energy industry. There's provisions in there around green jobs and workforce development for folks in the new and emerging green economy and clean energy industry here in San Francisco. It creates the office of an independent ratepayer advocate to really advocate on behalf of San Francisco ratepayers to ensure that rates are affordable and that service is effective and reliable. And it will really make San Francisco, the long and short, is a worldwide global leader in the fight against global warming.
Okay, that sounds great. Now, folks, since this is a live show, you may call our telephone number. If you have any questions for Julian, call 621-4473. Now, let's go back to Julian. Those are very innovative ideas. Obviously, everybody has been thinking about the global warming. I think Al Gore has spirited that. Is Al Gore supporting this campaign?
You know, there's no doubt that people like Al Gore are in solidarity with the goal of 100% clean energy. He's called for 100% by in 10 years, in fact. And so our goals are a little bit even more modest compared to Al Gore's suggestion. But we really do need to switch to 100% clean. And Prop H will switch San Francisco to 100% clean. Luminaries of the environmental movement, like, for instance, Bill McKibben, who's been giving predictions about the rate at which we need to curb our carbon emissions in order to prevent catastrophic climate change. People like Van Jones, who's Green for All, has really been at the forefront of the movement for environmental and social justice. Folks like Carl Pope, the National Executive Director of the Sierra Club, have all endorsed the San Francisco Clean Energy Act. And so this is definitely something that is prominently is in the forefront of sort of emerging ideas about how to really protect planet Earth and human civilization. One of those methods certainly is cleaning our energy supply. There's also issues around transportation and local sustainable food supplies, which are not being addressed by the Clean Energy Act, but we know that one major part of this movement for a sustainable planet and for a healthy environment and really the answer to global warming is going to be our ability to address our energy supply. This is making San Francisco really the first city to require 100% clean energy.
Great. Now, how how does this initiative really work? This is going to require that San Francisco, if this passes, takes over PG&E, correct?
No, incorrect.
All right.
What the measure calls for is a study to look at what the most effective way is for San Francisco to get to 100% clean energy. So our PUC will engage in a study, will accept the witness of sort of experts in the field, and will really then determine through this feasibility study the most effective, the most affordable way for San Francisco to get to the 100% clean energy mandate. Now that's quite possible that that's going to be a public utility, and that option, that alternative, is on the table with this act. But there's nothing that mandates a public utility. So if the study shows that PG&E as a private utility is going to get us to 100% clean energy in the most effective way, we can stick with PG&E. I think that the real fear that you're seeing from PG&E about this feasibility study is that they're really afraid of what the feasibility study might show. And the fact is that PG&E has already admitted that they're not going to reach the state's minimum mandate or requirement for renewable energy of 20% by 2010, and that, in fact, their renewable portfolio has declined over the past 3 years from 12.4% renewable to 11.4% renewable. So, our ability to really get the job done and do what needs to be done and have San Francisco lead the way, that's the kind of thing the study will be looking into, the most effective way to get there.
Okay, so let's say that this initiative passes on November 4. What would happen? What would be the first step? When will this initiative take place? What would happen to the organizational structure of the Public Utilities Commission? Is there going to be, does this initiative call for an election of the Public Utility Commissioners, or how is this going to happen?
The measure does not call for an elected PUC. It does not create a municipal utility district with, elected oversight as previous sort of public power measures have done in the past. This really is a clean energy mandate, and that's what the act does. It then calls for within 180 days for our PUC, as it is currently constituted, to undertake a study and deliver a study within 180 days of what the most effective way is to reach that 100% clean energy mandate. Now, the study calls for a cost-benefit analysis of municipalizing our electric system in San Francisco, and so therefore the study may show that there is greater benefit and lower cost to having a public utility, and that this will be a more effective manner of reaching the 100% clean energy goal for San Francisco, allowing San Francisco to take control of its energy future, to develop solar and wind and other renewable energy resources at a faster, more efficient, more affordable clip than PG&E is delivering. That all might be revealed by the study, and if it is revealed by the study, then there are provisions for our Board of Supervisors working with the PUC to then prepare a plan to either, create our own electric system, or, through eminent domain or otherwise pay fair market value for PG&E's distribution system. Those are all options to be considered later down the line, but there's no mandate as such for public power for a takeover of PG&E.
Okay, now let's backtrack a little bit. In the last election, there has been a reconstitution of the appointments of the Public Utilities Commissioners, correct?
That's right.
So that the Public Utilities Commissioners are now, they still have to be appointed by the mayor, right? A number of
That's
them,
correct.
and a number of them have to be appointed by the Board of Supervisors. Is that the case? And then everybody then gets confirmed by the Board of Supervisors?
Public Utilities Commissioners are still appointed by the mayor.
All of them?
Correct. There is
Okay.
There is provisions in there for those individuals to have certain levels of expertise in different areas.
Oh, I see.
And so
Okay,
the
all right.
makeup of the PUC is changing, and currently there are vacancies on the Public Utilities Commission, as those appointments will be filled with individuals who have relevant expertise in the area of public utilities, environment, and other
So how
areas.
many commissioners will there be?
5.
5, and they all have to be confirmed by the Board of Supervisors, right?
Right.
Okay, great. All right. Now let's go back to what will happen. So this particular commissioners will then hire a consultant to conduct a feasibility study, who will determine the direction of our public utilities use, right? Whether or not the city would best be served by a municipal public power institution, or maintain or the status quo be maintained through PG&E. Is that correct?
That's right. And if you look at other public utilities across the state of California, from Sacramento to LA, Palo Alto, Alameda, and others, you see cheaper rates, more effective and more reliable service, not just in California, but across the United States. 1 in 7 Americans receives their electricity from a public utility. And in states like
right.
Nebraska, even the entire state of Nebraska is a public utility state. So, I mean, these are the kind of things we get to look at in the study.
Right.
It's obvious that PG&E has not only the ratepayers of San Francisco that they're serving, but also as well their shareholders, and that with the public utility, with the profit motive gone, and with ratepayers really taking priority and precedence over shareholders, in the sense of folks actually profiting and benefiting from this sale of electricity, what we have is the ability to reinvest that what is now PG&E profit back into our grid, or to develop and build renewable energy resources, or any other manner of ways of maintaining a solid, effective, affordable utility and electric service for San Francisco. So those are options we get to consider through the study.
Okay.
And those are determinations that get to be made based on what's in the public interest.
Okay, now let me ask, assuming that the feasibility study says that it is best, it's most economical to deliver a public utilities system through the San Francisco municipal government, what happens then? Who determines what will be the next step? Do the Public Utilities Commission have to go back to the voters, or?
The Public Utilities Commission commissions the study within 180 days. The Board of Supervisors gets to review the study and then decide, based on the study, what is really in the public interest of San Francisco, i.e. whether or not to develop a plan or implement a plan, then again to be produced by the Public Utilities Commission, to either acquire or create a distribution system to deliver renewable energy, which the Board of Supervisors is already authorized at this point to issue revenue bonds in order to finance. And so this really just supplements their pre-existing ability to issue revenue bonds to build renewable energy resources by allowing them to issue revenue bonds, as it were, to then deliver that renewable electricity as well.
Exactly.
And that's the real import of the San Francisco Clean Energy Act. Okay,
so then, assuming that the Board of Supervisors, with this feasibility study, feels that there should be a public power distribution system, does the Public Utilities Commission and does the Board of Supervisors have to go back to the voters and say, look, the study says that we should go through a public power system, which would require that we take over PG&E. Does that step happen?
Well, let's be very clear about the process. This Prop H itself is a vote of the people to decide whether San Francisco ought to mandate 100% clean energy and pursue the best way to get there. So if you're asking is that, will we would then require a further vote of the people or another vote on the very same question of what's the best way to get to 100% renewable energy? The answer to that question is no. But the voters will have a decision this November on whether to enact this course. And I think what you'll find is the course is a very reasoned, very measured way through all the appropriate channels to study the feasibility of a public utility, to look at the most effective way to get to 100% clean energy in the most affordable manner possible.
Right.
And that, this Board of Supervisors already has revenue bonding authority, which can then be applied to building and delivering renewable energy to the residents of San Francisco. So, there are many other cases in which the Board of Supervisors currently approves revenue bonds, whether it's for sewers or for water, or for other vital purposes of the city and county of San Francisco. The 2001 solar bond already gave the Board of Supervisors extended that authority to include renewable energy. And so there's at least 8 current exceptions to having to have a vote of the people in order for city and county of San Francisco to issue revenue bonds. This simply adds, a 9th exception to the rule that allows them to issue revenue bonds relevant to delivering renewable energy resources in San Francisco.
Okay, so what's our timeline then, assuming that, this initiative passes in November, then the feasibility study is completed. What is the timeline for the completion of the feasibility study?
180 days.
Okay. All right, and then how long does it take for the Board of Supervisors to decide?
Once the study is produced, the Board of Supervisors can, in timely and fashion, respond to the study and then decide whether they want to, if it is in the public interest, request from the PUC not a study now, but a plan to, if they should deem it, and if the study should deem it in the public interest, and it should necessity demand, etc., which is the exact language of our pre-existing charter and the language of this measure, then direct the PUC to create and implement a plan at that point after the 180-day period to either acquire the distribution system or produce or take the steps to build a new distribution system if that's what they should choose, or if they should choose that it's in the public interest to stick with PG&E, and if the study shows that it's in the public interest to have PG&E continue to deliver and distribute energy to San Francisco residents, then we stick with PG&E, but we, through other methods such as community choice aggregation, still fulfill the 100% clean energy mandate. And we do that through contracting with energy service providers and having that energy delivered across PG&E lines to San Francisco. So, the real main point of this act is really not whether or not to have a public utility. The point is to get to 100% clean energy. Now, if that's through community choice aggregation in partnership with a private utility like PG&E, we're going to get to that 100%. If it's through municipalization, then that's how we'll get there. This simply gives San Francisco all the alternatives, all the options on the table. I think San Francisco deserves the very best option.
Now, assuming then that the Board of Supervisors decide. Now, does the mayor get involved in this at all or no? Does the Board of Supervisors and the Public Utilities Commission?
The mayor appoints the Public Utilities Commissioners. So, to the extent that, commissioners, to the extent that commissioners appointed by the mayor then feel that, the study would mandate a public utility or not, that's really still within who sits on the PUC, the purview of the mayor, and a little bit the Board of Supervisors. But as such, if you're asking sort of who gets to initiate the process here, it's really the PUC and the Board of Supervisors that do take the steps towards implementing the act.
Does the mayor get a chance to override any of the decisions in this initiative or no?
Well, once again, the mayor appoints the Public Utilities Commissioners. I would not underestimate the power that involves. The very people who are producing the study and making determinations on our public utilities here in San Francisco are appointed by the mayor. And so then you have the mayor, the PUC, and the Board of Supervisors all sharing authority over the process.
Wow. Now, what happens then? Let's assume that the Board of Supervisors and the PUC decide that the best alternative is to take over the public power distribution, what would say happen to the employees of the PG&E who's currently doing the work?
Yeah, there's actually provisions in the Clean Energy Act itself around labor relations that say that any employees that become employees of, say, the city and county of San Francisco as opposed to PG&E, as a result of the San Francisco Clean Energy Act passing and as a result of subsequent decisions being made, would not suffer any loss of compensation, any loss of benefits, and the pension would be guaranteed to at the same level or greater that is currently with PG&E. That last piece would require a further vote, as should be, and as is the case, and we've been through many of these pension votes in the past, to require voter approval to fund those pensions.
Okay,
but that's
great.
something that is provided for, at least the lack of suffering of any loss of benefits.
We're running out of time.
Within the Clean Energy Act.
Okay.
So just hope that answers your
Okay,
question.
no, it's great. We're running out of time, unfortunately. Julian, you're great. You've clarified a lot of the issues. As I said earlier, this is a big issue, and we're going to have to invite you back again here, unfortunately. But fortunately for us. So hopefully next time you have to, we'll check our schedule and your schedule, and we're going to have to talk about this again. There is so much, ladies and gentlemen, to discuss about this issue, and hopefully we will be able to inform the public as to, how to, not to influence the public as to how to vote on it, but certainly become more informed. Again, this is Myrna Lim Live, and thank you very much. See you again next time.
Thank you, Myrna.
Good night.